So with chapter 209 of Four Knights of the Apocalypse, we got the reveal of the Lady of the Lake. And this is something that we've all been anticipating for a long time, ever since the end of Seven Deadly Sins, and with Lancelot's return and the reveal that, thanks to Guinevere, that we learned that he was away from the lake, and he was known as the Prince of the Lake from the Lancelot one-shot. We've all been anticipating when the Lady of the Lake will make her grand appearance in Four Knights of the Apocalypse, especially since she was just a silhouette in Seven Deadly Sins. And now she's here, and there's a lot that this whole flashback with Lancelot and Jericho can in fact address and explain going forward. So I'm curious to see what's going to happen next. However, the Lady of the Lake could probably not be a virtuous person, could just be chaotic neutral. Maybe she's chaotic good, just chaotic or whatever, or chaotic evil. We have no idea. She's another being created by chaos. Same with the Supreme Deity, the Demon King, the Fairy the Fairy Tree. There's a lot. There are a couple of things that were created by chaos that were basically similar to like primordial deities, more or less. And then you also had Kath as well. But still, the Lady of the Lake has been a big enigma for basically the whole series, and this flashback is really going to give us some potential. So this gets me into the first real thing that many people in the comments of my chapter review pointed out. She looks like an elf. That's kind of also why I had my thumbnail artist make her blonde. But yeah, that didn't occur to me while I was recording, surprisingly enough. But yeah, she looks just like an elf. And for all we know, this is just a coincidence. But the fact that she is, looking like an elf, looks very youthful, makes me question a couple of things. Is she like that naturally? Or is it because of all the people she spirited away into her lake and why they're all seemingly floating in the river dead? Are those tentacles that tried to drag Lancelot and Jericho in, mainly Lancelot, down into the lake, a part of her? Or is it just some other creature that lives there to just drag people into the lake, and maybe the lake is just filled with a bottomless water? But it's all magic energy, because as we saw in the chapter, Jericho stated that drinking the water basically makes it so that they don't have to eat, and replenishes their strength and stamina. And to an extent, they don't even need to sleep, but they just do this just to rest, and also for time to pass, I guess. But, yeah, the lake refuels them. And so, it could either be just because the Lady of the Lake has just insanely infinite magical power in that extra-dimensional place, or it's fueled by the people she spirited away. That is a dark, dark truth right there. And this is what gets into the whole unaware of what her moral allegiance is. Because we all know she's basically partly responsible, more or less, for the awakening of chaos within Arthur, and was the one that put Merlin on the path to awaken chaos. She was within the lake, I forgot the name of the lake, at the end of Seven Deadly Sins, so Merlin can end up perfectly helping align the big magic attack into this massive magical lake, fueled with magical power, where the Lady of the Lake was more or less sleeping or dwelled within, in order for her to fully awaken, and to help use that power to awaken chaos. We had not seen the Lady of the Lake since Arthur awakened chaos, thus us waiting for her to eventually come back. And since we don't know her allegiance, she could just be doing shit for the sake of doing shit. Whether she wants to awaken chaos just to bring her creator, master back into the world and just let things play out as it is, with Arthur, a more prone to emotion type being, which is a human, the perfect creation of chaos that embodies both the light and darkness, the elements of light and darkness in terms of a soul, of a being, for the most part. Though we've seen the other races and clans of the world being a lot more complex than humans as well, or just as complex as humans for the most part, so it's more symbolic with humans with chaos and all that. However, we still don't know what she really wants. Is she just chilling in the lake of another dimension, just dragging unsuspecting dudes in there and just draining them of their magic power? Who knows? All I know is that it's probably lonely in that universe, in that dimension that she has. So she could be going insane, for all we know. Especially if she's been sealed away for a long time, for all we know. And this is where Lancelot and Jericho come in, because For all we know, the power that Lancelot has could be tied to the lake. We've all assumed, many of us have assumed, many in the comments as well have pointed it out and assumed that the true source of Lancelot's power is from the Lady of the Lake, or the lake of the Lady of the Lake. And we can tie this back into Lancelot having quote-unquote bottomless magic power, I believe, that we've mentioned previously, and he seems to absorb magical power and attacks oncoming to him, like we saw against Nanashi during the Demon Realm arc. So what if, since he is connected to the Lady of the Lake, what if it is true that the lake is just magic power made manifest into a continuously deepening lake of just pure magic power, and Lancelot taps into that? Him absorbing magic power goes straight to the lake, and Lancelot has a constant flow of the lake coming out from within and just being transferred straight to him, and maybe his soul is the link between that dimension and his. And the possibility of the Lady of the Lake just doing this primarily to perhaps, I don't know, screw with Arthur. Maybe she thinks that the power of chaos is no longer worthy. Arthur isn't worthy of the power of chaos, for all we know. Maybe Arthur is going too off the deep end, potentially with Kath's influence or whatever, if he's still around within Arthur. If he is just using all that to just make Arthur more chaotic and more towards chaotic evil. But that's still purely speculation at this point. But still, her motives are a mystery. For all we know, she could find Arthur no longer worthy of the power of chaos, and constructed Lancelot, and potentially with Lancelot's consent most likely, to become stronger than Bon, or as strong as his father, was given this power to one day be able to either snap Arthur out of it, or to thwart chaos, and perhaps reseal him, believing that Arthur is no longer worthy of the power, and thus waiting for someone else to awaken the power of chaos. Who knows? But there's a lot of possibilities. Either that, or the Lady of the Lake is the true main final antagonist of the series, and is just gathering up magical power so that she can be the end-all, be-all god of the universe, for all we know. That's certainly a possibility. But I wouldn't put my money towards it. But yeah, all this really stems from the fact that she just looks menacing as all hell. And yes, she is incredibly attractive, Lady of the Lake. But as much as I want to put towards that, the dark eyes, really, and that sinister smile, make me want to run away. Like, she could be hot as all hell. If she's looking at me like that with those dark eyes, I'm booking it out of there. It ain't worth it. She's probably evil. She might be evil, or she is just chaotic neutral. She'll do whatever it takes for her own ideals or sense of perhaps balance of the world. But we'll find out with the next couple of chapters as we keep going along with this flashback. Again, long time in the making. And whatever happened, and all we know is that it's barely been a month in the flashback so far. There's still over 2.5 years left for Lancelot and Jericho to be in the lake. They disappeared for 3 full years, coming back to around the time of the Grudge of Edinburgh movie, and then there's another 3 years till the start of Four Knights of the Apocalypse and the prophecy of the Knights of the end of the world. So yeah, there's a lot of time left. So could be just a bunch of training in these couple of arcs. Could be a lot of mental strain being put on Lancelot and Jericho. Who knows? Maybe Lady Lake was originally going to have Jericho take on her power. Perhaps because she was older and had more magic power than Lancelot at this point, because as we saw, Lancelot's Shining Robe was just bounced away by the monster tentacle, while Jericho's was dodged. Her attack was dodged by the tentacle, showing that she at that point was 100% stronger than Lancelot. I mean, Lancelot was a kid. Obviously, he didn't have the insane magic power that he had right now, and probably didn't go through the amount of strenuous training to become strong, as strong as he is now outside of the lake. But still, it could be a potential thing where Jericho tried to become the guardian to try to make sure Lancelot doesn't go through this burden. But perhaps the power of the lake was more compatible with Lancelot, since he was not as strong. But also, he's the child of Bon and Elaine. There's a lot to really consider. And who knows? This could go back into the Fountain of Youth. Because, yeah, that is a possibility. For all we know, the water that made the Fountain of Youth might have been like a specially made water from the Lady of the Lake given to the fairy tree and was placed there. For all we know, that could be like a retcon or something that Nakba could do to kind of tie this in. Maybe because Bond drank the water and was immortal for a bit, and now is in a more of an evolved human state. Elaine was brought back using the immortality essence of the Fountain of Youth to bring her back to life. So technically, both his parents have the Fountain of Youth within him, and that basically makes him more compatible with the lake's power. That's certainly a possibility, but I don't really got much else in that fact. Either way, this flashback's gonna be something insane. I'm excited. I'm really excited, and if all goes well, this video will be out like the day before or the day of Chapter 210 releasing, and that'll probably give us a lot of answers as to what could happen in the future of the story. So I'm excited. I'm looking forward to this. But at the end of the day, Lady of the Lake is still too mysterious. We don't know her motives. We don't know if she's actually evil or not. She's just neutral, and it could cause a lot of problems if that's the case, for all we know, because people who are neutral probably have a different skew of what's right for the world, for all we know, and what's right for others. So there is a lot. And also, she kills a bunch of random people, dragging them into her lake, for all we know, and might just be for no reason except for the fact that she can. Who knows? But yeah, let me know what you guys think of the Lady of the Lake. More information is great. I love talking to you guys like this. I want to do these more post-chapter discussions whenever I get the chance to. Let me know in the comments what you think is going to happen in the next couple of chapters. If Chapter 210 is out by the time this video is out, and you're watching it then, let me know how things are going. Just let me know if I'm right or wrong. Don't actively spoil it in case this video is out before the review. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you all have an awesome day. Look forward to next time, and look forward to Chapter 210 in that review.